Overnight low. Tomorrow, afternoon high temperatures will be very close to 90 degrees, and it looks like we're going to stay at or above 90 as we go through the rest of the work week, and then perhaps a little bit cooler with the onshore wind as we head into the weekend. And there is Southwest Florida's most accurate forecast from Storm Warn 7.
Thank you, JP. In tonight's ABC 7 special report, we are getting you more on cutting. It's a painful way many kids deal with their own pain.
It's also a destructive behavior that can go unnoticed for years. And tonight, ABC 7 anchor Annie Hubble is here getting you more on self-harm.
Yeah, guys, every year about 2 million cases of self-harm are reported. They're often young people looking for a short-lived high or relief. It's a frightening reality for parents and a serious problem health professionals are trying to tackle.
There are a couple of times that she came very close to hitting an artery, and it's it's tough.
Dozens and dozens of scars, permanent marks of pain forever etched in 15-year-old Chloe's body.
When you think about taking a blade to your wrist or to your leg to the point that you need stitches, you don't think your child is capable of doing that.
Trying to cope with a traumatic incident, Chloe started self-harming at age 10. Her mom, Adrienne, admittedly naive.
Her self-harm at that age was running into a wall or falling down and she discovered that she kind of liked that pain at that moment when it would happen.
Soon it turned to cutting.
I had her iPad and the cover fell off of it. And in that cover was a number written on a script pad from her pediatrician. So I called the number and the guy on the other line answered suicide hotline. My heart sank.
In a frantic online search for help, one piece of information remained consistent. Adrienne started a conversation.
When she came home, I said, look, I found this out. And she just said, I'm glad you know. She felt like a weight had been lifted off of her.
20% of middle schoolers have tried some type of self-harming behavior.
Intentional self-injury, self-harm are all common terms that refer to the intentional injury of body tissue without the intent to die.
Cutting is more common among girls, while boys are more prone to create bruises by hitting themselves. All compulsive behaviors trying to interrupt strong emotions that can seem impossible to tolerate.
This is really difficult to capture, though, because self-harm is really often done in secret.
Because clothing can hide physical injuries, parents need to be aware of other red flags: frequent accidents, isolation, irritability, changes in relationships, or problems in school.
I know what it's like to wake up every morning and not know if my daughter's going to be alive behind that door. I went through that for over a year of not knowing what's going to happen.
Chloe's recovery is day by day. It has been 6 months since she hurt herself last. Her support system helping every step of the way.
They're not going away, and there's no treatment to make those go away. She's stuck with them for life. Whenever she wears a bathing suit or has kids or,
Hers was Tucker.
She's going to have to explain and be secure with who she is.
For a year, Chloe has received treatment at the David Lawrence Center in Naples. Together in weekly sessions, she and her mom are gaining communication skills to combat that inner struggle.
If we hadn't found David Lawrence Center and been put in the CAP program in DBT, I can't say for certain that Chloe would still be with me.
Research on self-harm started in the 1980s, but in recent years, movies and TV shows have drawn attention to it, prompting greater numbers of teens and tweens to try it and more young people to come forward for help. Health professionals urge parents to start the conversation, create a judgment-free zone, and offer support, not ultimatums. Jeff, Krista.
And we are going to keep the conversation going right now because we are joined by Scott Burgess, CEO of the David Lawrence Center. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, Annie talked about this a little bit, and it's so hard for parents because it's so much done in secret. Yeah.
But I think maybe we have a little advantage being in Florida because of long sleeves. It's hot out, and if your teen is wearing long sleeves, that's a sign.
Yeah, absolutely. There's several warning signs, and certainly if somebody's wearing long sleeves or long pants all the time here in Florida, that's definitely an indicator that you want to see what's happening there. Other warning signs can be very similar to what you might see with other mental health related issues. If your child has a swing in behavior that's significant, take that seriously. Certainly isolating behavior, take that very seriously, whether that's physical isolation, that they're just spending all sorts of time in their room, or whether that's social isolation. We have a lot of kids that are just detaching completely, and so nobody's really able to recognize that this behavior is happening.
Now, the most powerful moment of Annie's story, at least for me, was when that mother, Adrienne, ends up calling that phone number, and it's a suicide hotline, and she is then confronted, well, what do I do as a parent? Do I handle this on my own? Do I get professional help? What's your advice to parents in terms of what they can do on their own, and when do they involve your organization?
I think she described it so well when she said that she was opening up the dialogue. You have to be present physically and emotionally for your children. So open up that dialogue. There's got to be that trusting relationship between parents and their children. So talk about that and open this up. Normalize it to the extent that this is a behavior that is a medical condition, that this is something just like any other medical condition that requires some support. And then critically take that next step. Make sure that you're seeing a professional that really understands these issues and has effective treatment methodologies to treat it.
Scott Dennis from the David Lawrence Center joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we're going to keep this conversation going on Facebook Live right after this newscast. So tune in to ABC 7 Southwest Florida on Facebook in just a moment, and you can ask Scott more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Nate Foy, and coming up in sports, why this week might be Serena Williams' last as the world's top-ranked player. Also,